So just before we get started, I just want to let you know that we do record our consultations. It's on the form and everything.
Yeah.
We record our Zoom lessons and in-person lessons as well. So just a heads up on that. So we have Mr. Wayne, correct?
Yes.
I read here it was a little bit of reactivity, I think it was. I'm trying to find it. And then on the walks in the house. So and what kind of dog is Wayne?
A corgi.
Corgi. Okay. So go ahead and fill me in on any information that you think I should know about Wayne.
All right. So, I mean, he was fine. Before we got a new puppy, Arya, who was also a corgi.
Mm.
And he was fine before that, but since we've gotten Arya, we haven't been able to take him to like the dog park as much. And I think it's either that or the way that Arya and Wayne are playing now is what led to it. But since then, he's been really reactive on the leash as far as being like aggressive. But interestingly enough, like when we take him to daycare, they say they haven't seen any issues.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only on when we're walking him on a leash that he's been like more like barking a lot and more aggressive with like dogs when they get close to him.
Two dogs, not humans, right?
Yeah, not humans.
Okay. And then, okay. Anything else?
No, that's it for him.
Okay. Um, and does this happen when? Oh wait, cat's phone.
Nice.
Connecting audio. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. You can hear me and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was just filling me in on Wayne. You guys got a new dog, Aria, and that's pretty much when the barking started. Correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
And that Wayne is reactive on walks to other dogs, but at the daycare doesn't really notice anything. So go ahead and if there's anything else you'd like to add about Wayne, with any information I would like to know, or any goals you have with him, you can
So we went to a new daycare, but the previous daycare said that he would get in trouble sometimes because he would be like one day he I guess was lunging at other dogs and they had to like isolate him, and they didn't let him do things where he would get like overstimulated. Like he's a really friendly dog, he just gets like overstimulated, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. And that's the old daycare, right?
Yeah. And I took him to a new one. I don't know if they're like as what's it called? Like strict about that kind of stuff, but
okay.
Yeah.
And then how long has he been at the other daycare for?
How long has he been, Evans?
Like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks. And then when did he
Yeah.
start lunging?
When did he what?
Start lunging at the dogs?
Oh, it was before we got Arya.
At the daycare, right?
At the previous daycare, like it was just one day he had a particularly bad day where he was, I guess, lunging and just being more aggressive than usual, so they had to isolate him. This was like a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and they didn't report any more issues after that.
Yeah.
But they didn't let them. They let all the dogs run into the playroom together. But they stopped letting them run into the playroom, and they said that kind of solved it.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Not really. He cries quite a lot to get our attention, and we always respond to it. So I think we have to change that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, what other issues, Evans, you think?
No, I mean that's all we want to work on. The thing on the leash.
Yeah, the reactive on the leash for sure.
Okay. And then when Wayne gets reactive, is this when Arya's present, or does it matter if Arya's there or not?
It doesn't
So
matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
ever since we got her, though, he's been a lot worse about it. So
Okay.
yeah, it's either solo or when she's there, he's like way worse about it.
Okay, so he got worse when you got Arya, but if Arya's not present, he's still worse because Arya's in his life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Um, and then is Arya reactive as well, or is she just kind of confused, or?
She's not right now. She like wants to see what's going on, but she's not right now. I would say she probably is gonna learn it though, I would assume.
Yeah. How old is Arya?
She's 4 months.
Okay, and she's a corgi too. So
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Um. Okay. So, are you looking for, besides like the reactivity and everything, are there any other specific commands you're looking for Wayne to know? Or I know this is your priority, but is there anything else that any other goals you have in mind?
The whole like he actually does stay, but I want him to know like stay and maybe down on a leash just so we could like control that. But
Okay. Control what? Just like his.
yeah, because I mean, I don't know. For example, my parents' golden retriever, like if there's a dog walking by, they'll be like stay and then go down, and then he'll just wait for the dog while he's down to walk by.
Okay.
Yeah.
We won't use down and stay for those reasons.
Okay.
Because that's just a band-aid. That doesn't address the problem.
Okay.
Okay. Did you guys do research on us and how we train and everything, like the methods we use?
Yeah.
And then we'll use prong collar sometimes, but it's never like it's not our like primary tool. But our primary tool is remote collar.
Mhm.
So for Wayne, what does he walk? What does he walk on? Does he walk on a harness or a lead or a flat collar or a prong? What is it? Tool you use?
He's got walked on leash and harness.
Harness. Okay. So harnesses, it could be part of the issue because Wayne is social, correct?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the harness is meant for. So dogs have what's called opposition reflex, so that if you pull back, they want to go forward, and if you pull left, they go right. If you pull right, they go left, and if you pull forward, they want to go back. Same thing, like back and forward. So that could be probably the issue because since you're pulling back, if they want to go say hi to a dog, it gets frustrating to them. So then they tend to vocalize their frustration, which is like the barking and everything, like the lunging. So sometimes when owners, this actually goes for the 4-month-old as well. If the 4-month-old is on a harness, I recommend take the harness and swap it out for like a gentle leader. The gentle leader goes on like around the muzzle, and then like it's a little strap on the back. So
Mhm.
pull right, their head goes this way. So then it's easier to like stop like scavenging on the ground for your walks. You're not getting any. There's no chance of having the trachea become collapsed because again, harnesses are meant for pulling. So huskies wear harnesses. We put harnesses on our protection dogs. So if
Mhm.
we want to create frustration, we put the harness on the dog. We pull back and then release, pull, release, because they want to go forward when we pull back. So we let them go forward for a little bit, but then we pull back again. Once we've created enough aggression or frustration, we let them go and they go ahead and bite the guide. So sometimes people who are putting a puppy on a harness, they could be unintentionally, raising a protection dog. So we don't go for harnesses. Harnesses are a tool it won't fix pulling and it'll just make the reactivity technically worse.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I know you said gentle. What is it? Leash or gentle for Arya, but what about Wayne?
Wayne we would just put him on a regular flat collar, and then he would be on the e-collar, and I'll explain like how that would work.
Okay.
The reason why Ari would be on the gentle is because she's she's too young.
Mhm.
So we start e-collar training when the puppies reach 6 months. We've done younger, 4 to 5 months, but it's more nuanced. It's more for like the dog trainer to do, not the owner.
Mhm.
So for her age, the gentle leader would be best, and then maybe when she hits about like, you know, because it depends. You have to play it by ear. Sometimes dogs are just great on gentle leader their whole life, or over time they kind of override that, and they because the gentle leader doesn't correct leash walking, or it doesn't it doesn't correct the pulling. It's still a bad day, but it's just because already 4 months old. That's all.
Okay.
Now, as the puppy goes older, they might override it, which means they'll start pulling again, and they'll just be like this, just pulling. Their neck, their head will be turned. So then you would have to switch out for another tool, maybe like prong collar. You get like 6 months, maybe, to kind of correct that. Or you can also have her train the way we trained Wayne, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, that's why we use gentle leader. What else?
Also, while we're talking, did you? Oh, my camera just went off. Interesting. But did you have any advice for? Because we're having a lot more trouble. I don't know if you do this, but potty training her as compared to him.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's the second dog, so we're letting like maybe her out more than we let him out. So I don't know if you had any advice for, other than just like maybe just keeping her in her kennel all the time, like we did him mostly, but just so we could watch her more, and like any potty training advice also on top of this for a second dog.
A good something that's good to do is just putting the puppy on your own schedule, not their schedule. So sometimes owners will be like, oh, the puppy was, the puppy lets me know when they have to go. They ring the doorbell, they whine or whatever. You technically don't want to do that, because life happens. There'll be one day where you miss that whine, or you don't hear it, or she's at the door clawing at it, and then you're busy doing something, and then she's just going to go out somewhere else and do it. So a lot of crate time, making up your own schedule. So for every month the puppy is, that's an hour of crate time if they should hold it. So if she's 4 months, she can technically hold it for 4 hours straight during the day, and she should technically be able to hold it already overnight, with no like 1 a.m. outings. It should just be overnight. She does it. If she doesn't, then she has an accident in her crate, which is then the negative for the training of the potty training. So I think whatever you did with Wayne would be good, because you said a lot of crate time. So I would do that. And if you're unable to watch Arya when she's out and about, I would just leave her in the crate then, because then she's just an accident without you watching her.
Yeah.
But also, she doesn't have too much of an issue with going in the crate, which is also a problem.
Say that again.
She doesn't have too much of an issue with going in the crate, which is also part of the problem.
Okay. When she goes in the crate, what do you do?
I'll just clean it up, take her out, because I usually don't notice immediately. Then she'll start crying afterwards, but she doesn't cry before or anything, so I have no like warning.
That's why she doesn't have an issue.
Yeah.
Because she goes in the crate, and then she's like, Dad will come and clean me up anyways, and you come and you clean her up. So then she'll just keep going. So what you want to do is, for those 4 hours, let's say 1 p.m. was her outing. She went outside and she didn't potty.
Yeah.
Put her back in the crate, and let's say at 3, she goes in her kennel.
Mm-hmm.
We'd technically leave her in there until 4, because she now has to deal with that. Yeah. So that's gonna learn, man, I was stuck in my own piss for an hour, and Dad didn't come to save me. I'm probably not going to do that again. So it's a common thing where you would want to clean up the dog right after they go, but you would actually want to leave them in there so that there's a negative in the training, because for teach something, there needs to be a positive and a negative. The negative would be, you go in the crate, you're going to deal with it. The positive is you go outside, you don't need to deal with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Okay. And then, so gentle leader, harness, prong collar it's a good tool, because, like I said, it allows you now to correct behavior. So you know what a prong collar looks like, correct? Like the spike. They're supposed to mimic a dog bite. All dogs are physical animals, so if let's say Wayne was, or maybe Arya. Let's say Arya was like chewing on Wayne's ear, and she did not stop. And then Wayne was getting fed up, and then he was like, "All right, I growled at you, still didn't listen. What do you think Wayne would do next if he didn't really like it?"
Probably grab her.
Yeah, correct. Bite her. So there's no dogs don't say off or leave it or sit. Here's a treat. Good boy, you didn't bite my ear. It's just you do this action, you're gonna get this consequence immediately. There's no talk. Humans, we don't do that. Obviously, if someone's bothering me or talking or like looking at me weird, I wouldn't just result in punching them, right? We would say, "Are you okay?" Or like we would use our words to kind of address a situation. But dogs are not like that. They don't use words. They use their teeth. So that's why prong collar is great because it's physical. And puppies and dogs have been getting physicality since they were 4 weeks old around. There's a really good video to watch of a cream retriever. She's walking. You might have seen it. It's a really popular video. She's walking in like a little playpen with her like 8 puppies, and they all like bombard her and they're like jumping on her and they're like biting her and whining. And then you hear her growl. You see her show her teeth, and then she snaps at 3, and then the rest turn around, walk away, and then lay down and sleep. So just from that early age, they're already getting physicality, so it's nothing foreign to them. That's why you can get great results with prong. Now the issue, so those are the pros to prong, because you can correct behaviors. Now the cons with prong is that sometimes um, the pressure behind that prong collar isn't enough to stop the behavior. So let's say Wayne sees another dog, and then before that dog, he's been responding great to the prong collar. But then when he sees a dog, he doesn't care about the prong collar anymore. He's like
Yeah.
going through it. That's an issue. You can teach sit down, stay, heel, come, place with prong. The issue would be is that once you take the leash off, you've lost all control. So if Wayne somehow slips out the prong collar, or like the prong collar breaks, or one day you didn't put it in right, and then he's running away, there's no way to make Wayne turn around and come back to you because there's no connection anymore. So those are some pros and cons with prong collar. Like I said, we don't train with prong collar. All we do is incorporate it. So like for like our big dogs, like the Rotties and the bully breeds, for our owners, we would say you can have the prong collar. We recommend it because of how big they are. Because you're be in a certain situation where you need to control the dog first, then result to the remote. Any questions about those? Anything I said?
You say you don't train with it. So do you know what method you're thinking about as far as what we would do with Wayne or?
Oh yeah. It would be we would do e-collar. So um, the old school term is called shock collar.
Mhm.
It's electric, yes, but it's not electricity, so it's not like flowing through the dog's body. Have you ever been to a physical therapist or a chiropractor?
Yeah.
Have you ever had tensing or a stim?
No.
It's like a muscle contractor. They put it on the patient, and it's like for torn muscles, I believe. And uh, the way they teach is very similar to how we do our dog training. Is that they'll start low and then they work their way up. So they'll tell the client, "Let me know what's too uncomfortable." Client says, "That's uncomfortable." They lower it 2 levels down and they let the machine do its work. So that same feeling they use on humans is what we use on the dogs. It's like a soothing feeling. It's just like a little tickle. The brand we use is called Dogtra. Dogtra, for their stimulation levels, which is what we use, has 127 levels. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 127. There are other brands out there that maybe go up to 10 or like 8 or 16, whatever it is. Think of 10, if that's their maximum level, the power outage of 10 equal to 127. We just have so many more numbers to be more specific to the dog's personality, the breed, or like the situation we're in. Because with those 10 level e-collars, what they struggle with is that 4 is too low. Wayne's not listening. He doesn't care about it. But then 5 is too high, where he's yelping. It's too much power. So then you're stuck. It's either dog's not listening or dog's yelping. For us, we can be very specific to it. 40 is too low, 50 is too high. We can go to 45, 42, 43. It can be it can get very nuanced. They're waterproof. You get a mile long range. Very easy to use. They're rechargeable. So that's what the e-collar, that's like the actual e-collar. But how it would help Wayne is that what we need to teach him on these walks is, one, how to walk properly and what to do on these walks. Because um, if he's more concerned about a dog, you know, is when he's reacting to a dog, like how far does the dog need to be for him to like react?
I think within
As
the
soon as-
block is longest.
Block.
No, as soon as he sees them.
Yeah.
So,
So
Okay.
like a block usually, yeah.
So as soon as he sees a dog, he starts reacting. That shouldn't happen, right? Because he should be more focused with you than a dog that's super far away on sight, right? So what we would need to teach him is the exercise is covering a few things. It's called heel. The heel is like the walking command. Our version of heel is walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. So if I take 5 steps with Wayne, Wayne takes 5 steps. If I take 10, he takes 10. When I come to a stop, he's to automatically sit on my side with his shoulder glued to my leg, so they're parallel, with a loose leash in any environment. So what we're covering here is we're teaching him how e-collar works. We're teaching him the pressure on, pressure off concept, and that he is the one, that he's the one in control of the e-collar. Wayne will never know that it's you pressing the button because there's nothing connected you to the feeling. Now with prong collar, it sounds funny, but when dogs see a leash or like something attached to you, like if I was holding like the leash and I pull them on the leash, he sees that and he knows it's me doing because there's a connection here, and then he sees a leash connected to you. You don't see that with the e-collar, so it's non-confrontational. It's like you're not using as much energy as you would for like prong collar or any other training. So it's very simple, very easy, quick, and then so that's what we're covering, just teaching him what the feeling means and how to turn it off and what the answers are to turning it off. The other thing we're covering is the dog reactivity. So the idea is we teach this super strict command that's very concerning to him, so important to him that nothing else should matter except here, because he doesn't want to get this. He wants to stay here. So if he has to stay here, he can't wander and look over here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what happens is, on like the spectrum of reactivity, we have the humans usually go away first by its own. If there's any human reactivity, it's done. We don't need to address it like head on. It just goes away. Then it's like bikes, rollerbladers, scooters, and calm dogs. Actually, it's just calm dogs. So the calm dogs we may need to address, but it's nothing serious. It might go away first as well. It's kind of playing it by ear. Then it's rollerbladers, scooters, bikes, and then other reactive dogs. And then you turn the corner, there's a dog there. That's kind of how the progression goes for reactivity. So what would happen is we would teach him heel. Let's see what it fixes. Okay, he's doing great. He doesn't really care about the dogs, like, you know, on site. It's more of the dogs when they come close to him, or if they're like bigger dogs, or if they're reacting to him. Calm dogs, he doesn't care, but it's the reactive dogs. So now we'll focus on that part of his reactivity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Questions so far? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So we walked them on like a dual leash, like where they're both on the same leash. Is that kind of bad practice?
Yes, because he'll still be on the harness. So I would probably just see how he's doing. What is it? See how he's doing with the first lessons by himself, just walks alone, and then how much control do you have over Aria? Like, does she pull too?
Oh yeah, she pulls all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
and he runs away too.
So it's just going to be confusing for him. So I think it might be too overwhelming, but I think that's something you would want to switch out. Yeah, I would switch it out then. Just having them separated.
Makes sense.
Any other questions?
Do we buy the collar, or do you provide them for part of it?
Yeah. So they're sold separately. So you would have to. So we'll provide you a link to Amazon to purchase it yourself, or we sell them here So whichever one you wanted to go for, it's up to you. They're the same price and everything. If you purchase the e-collar through us, you have 30 days. Um, if there's like a malfunction or something is wrong with the e-collar, within those 30 days, you would give it back to us. We'd borrow you a collar, and then we'd contact doctor and get it fixed for you. After those 30 days, you would have to contact doctor yourself and get it fixed. But again, same price and everything. All it's just personal preference. If you want to get it before we start training, fidget around with it, get used to it, then come training, you're used to it. Or if you want, you can just pick it up, before your training, whatever you want to do. But we provide you options for that.
Okay.
But the same with the flat collar too. There's specific brands, or does it not matter?
For just a collar, you would just want to get one of these. Like they go through the loop and everything. Let me see.
Mhm.
I see how they go through the loop like that. You don't want to get the snap where they click.
Yeah.
Because almost every single, like 9 times out of 10, when we were training with those collars, when I first started working here and I left them on, they would always just break. They'd always just fall apart at some point. So
Okay.
just for safety, this is like the most secure through the loop and everything, like the belts and everything like that.
Okay. And
Does
then
that true on like smaller dogs too, or no? Because I feel like it'd be pretty hard for him to break it.
Say that again.
Corgi. Is it true for like smaller dogs, medium-sized dogs? Because I feel like it'd be pretty hard for him to break it as a corgi.
No, even for the smaller dogs, because the collar gets smaller.
Yeah. True.
What else?
what about the leash? Does it matter if it's like leather, regular?
No, I mean, just a regular leash, not a flexi leash, which is more difficult to work with.
Gotcha.
I've done it before, but it's just it's a bit of a pain.
Mhm.
For me, personal preference, I like the leather leash. I get a good grip with it. But if you want nylon, you can get nylon. Whatever you guys want to go for. Anything else?
I just have
After
a
me.
question about, not specific to this, like about the potty training. So you know how I said like the 4-hour thing? Would you leave her? Because we trained Wayne where we just like went online and tried to figure it out, but where we would take him out every like hour to hour and a half. But he would be in his crate like in between. For the 4-hour thing, would she be in her crate the whole time? Or
Yeah, it depends. So like if you let her out in the morning, and then she does number 1 and number 2 outside, then you can get her freedom as long as you're supervising her.
right.
So it's like if it just depends, because he was saying like we can't watch her sometimes, so then she should technically be in the crate.
Okay.
But unless you're gonna watch her for those 4 hours and make sure she's not gonna potty, that's up to you.
Right.
But that's just like that's when she should go potty. Now if you
Right.
start to notice she's going potty in between, to me she's not ready for freedom yet, of like free roaming.
Right. Okay. Okay. I was just wondering.
The 4 hours was just like to teach her how to hold it.
Yeah.
For every month a puppy is, we add an hour to it.
Right. Yeah. Right. And she doesn't go at night at all, which is interesting, but she pees every like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
To
It could
30.
also be you're giving her too much water. So if you're giving her free water, that could be an issue as well.
Yeah.
Because for us, we do an ounce per pound for the day.
Okay.
Interesting.
Uh,
I never heard that one before.
Ounce per pound. For potty, if they're going number 1 and you notice that the urine is clear, that means they're overhydrated.
Yeah.
You want it.
She drinks a lot of
You want
water.
it to look like a yellowish or whatever. And then if she's doing activity, then you can give her a little bit extra water, but just keep that in mind that okay, we gave her more water than she needed today, so she might need a more time to go outside, or like a longer walk or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What else? Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. There are some common questions owners ask for the e-collar stuff. So one of the common questions is, is the e-collar on forever? Is it on in the home at night? When does it come on? When does it come off? So it's on when you need it. So if you're going to go for a walk with Wayne, it's most likely going to be on always, because, and this is even after the program, it should always be on your walks. because let's say one day, a car backfires, like a car crash happens,
Mm-hmm.
and Wayne gets spooked and he books it, and then maybe you're making great progress, and maybe you have like a loose grip, and then it slips out your hand, or the leash breaks, or something happens where Wayne is running away, and he's running because of that sound or something happened. That's called flight mode. Um, so when dogs are in flight mode, they're thinking kill or be killed. So they're running for their life. So saying, Wayne, come, sometimes won't be enough for him to turn around and come to you. Sometimes it could, but if it's not, you have that e-collar on to provide power to override the brain to make him turn around and come to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's been, I think Jesse had a client where his client was they were playing fetch, and then they were like in their own space, and then a dog came out of nowhere and was running towards their dog's ball as their dog was pursuing going for the ball, and their dog was a resource guarder, so if they ended up at the same spot there would have been a scuffle. So
Mm-hmm.
she had the e-collar on, and I mean the dog was off leash. You should have the e-collar on when they're off leash in general, but she was able to stop the dog in the tracks, make him turn around and come back to her to avoid um, any harm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in the home, let's say Wayne is hanging out, relaxing, um, then you don't need it. Let's say you don't like it when Wayne jumps on your guests and kind of gets hair on them, or maybe your guest doesn't like dogs. You would collar him up 30 minutes prior to the guests arriving, address whatever that is needing to be addressed, and then if you find that Wayne is relaxed throughout the night or the day with your guests, you can take it off, or you can keep it on just to in case he decides to go back to jumping on the guest. Um, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, and yeah, I was also thinking like we're gonna learn heel. Are we gonna learn like come when he's off leash?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
So heal and come are like our main commands we want to teach you, because if we're giving you a tool that can give you off leash control, we might as well give you the come, because that's the most important command.
yeah.
Um, so recall and then heal. So was there like a specific program you guys were looking for, like a in-person one-on-one, or like a daycare and train, or a board and train? Or is there anything in specific you were looking for? Or I can go ahead and explain the programs to you if you want.
I think explaining them probably is best. Yeah, I assumed it was like in person 101, but
Okay.
you can explain them.
Yeah. So in person is where it's all verbal instruction. So the trainer doesn't touch the dog. It's all you doing all the work. So you're learning everything from like zero to whenever we're getting depending on how much control you're wanting with Wayne. But you're learning everything hands on. You're learning how to troubleshoot. You're learning what to do when a dog is coming by. And you're learning all these situations and how to handle these situations. Uh, we have the 6-week program, the 9-week program, and the 12-week program. Um, think of the 6-week program as I walk my dog around the block. There's no reactivity. It's very structured, it's calm, peaceful. I take my dog to the dog park, or like an open field. I need recall, and then I go home. That's the 6-week program. The 9-week program is I walk my dog around the block, structured, peaceful, no reactivity. I need recall because I let my dog free roam. But then maybe you want to go to an outdoor patio and you want him to lay down and not move for like 2 hours. That's the 9-week program. The 12-week program is all of those things, but then you go like hiking every other weekend and you need him to be completely off leash trained, and he's running around the woods and he's seeing deer and you need to recall him off that, and just we're teaching you more commands to kind of ensure that he's controlled, and we work with you more to build him to off leash control. That's how we like to kind of describe how our programs work. For you, what I'm thinking, if you're just looking to just address reactivity, and then you want recall, the 6-week program would be great. But then if you're like, well, I kind of want more control, I'm going to learn more, then we can do like the 9 or 12. It just depends how much control you're wanting. Minimum, I'd say 6-week program.
Okay.
How that would work is 2 classes heal, um, and then we see what this fixes. Let's say, because I think he barks in the home too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
Not
say
as much.
anymore.
No, I mean, he never was really a big barker in the house. He barks sometimes. He'll bark like when somebody's coming in the downstairs. He barks like when one of our neighbors is coming in or cats coming in. That's about it.
Never did do that until you got Arya.
Yeah.
Let's say we're 2 classes past, and then let's say Enrique, he's still reacting to dogs. It's going to give you more wiggle room because we're only your primary is your priority is the reactivity. But let's say he's still reacting to big dogs. In that third class, we can focus on something where we're creating energy, and we need to address that. Um, and then 2 classes recall, which gives you 2 classes left, which would be we can teach you a stationary command if you would like, or if there's something else like in the home you want to address, we can do that class as well. And then that last class could be like an overview of everything that we've taught you. So that's how the 6-week program would work out. Like I said, that's why I think that would be enough for you. You can always add more classes. So we have a 3-week program as well. So if you wanted to like, if you do the 6-week and you're like, wow, like this was amazing, I want to learn more. I want more class. You can get the 3-week bundle. That's another 6. You can get the 3-week bundle. So you can always add more classes. These lessons we can do in home. We usually operate at Oz Park, or we're going to move to Palmer Square Park because Oz Park is right by the lake, so you get that wind chill, so it's cold. But we do Palmer. If not, we also operate our facility. If it's too cold out, we can do it here. We like the Palmer Park and Oz Park because it's like crazy busy. There's always dogs running around, scooters. They're very busy parks. So the idea is that if you can train your dog at these busy environments, you can train your dog anywhere.
Yeah.
What else? In person. So example, this is an example. Mondays at 10:15, 6 times for an hour once a week. That's how it works. On our calendar, you are reserved for 7 time slots, so 7 days. The 7th one is just an extra for you in case life happens, in case like an emergency happens, or family stuff happens, or if it rains or whatever it is. You have an extra slot reserved for you, so that you still have a slot there. Now, once you've used that extra slot, you'll have to wait to get back on the calendar for more availability to continue the training. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be a lot of rain and inclement weather. I feel like this time of year, probably making it tough to train.
Yeah, we'll probably just be in the facility, I'm thinking, just because it's already cold. And yeah, if it does rain, let's say you're like, I want to go outside, I want to train outside. We can do that. And if it rains one day, we can just, on that day, we just move to the facility. It's not like a crazy thing.
Okay.
What else?
How many hours do you have to put into it, like not in class?
Yeah. So that's why, for us, it's super easy because everyone walks their dog. So then every walk you would practice this. It's just like it's part of life. So it gives you, so it's just whenever you walk Wayne is when you'll practice with him. So there's no like set 5 minutes, set like a 20-minute session aside and do some of this stuff. There's none of that. It's all just real life stuff where you just have to just incorporate it on your walks. That's all.
But you would say start walking the dog separately though, starting with the lessons pretty much.
Yeah. Say that again.
Like start walking Arya and Wayne separately though.
Yes.
Starting with the lessons though. Okay.
Yeah. Because what's going to happen is, let's say you do some walks with the e-collar, some walks with no e-collar. It's going to be inconsistent for him. So then you're going to be going back and forth. He's going to be regressing and then progressing, progress, because he's just going back and forth. So the more consistent you are with Wayne, the better he'll get, and it'll be easier for him to understand that you just don't bark at dogs and you need to be right here when you walk with me. What else?
And you've seen dogs, like, because Wayne's a little over a year. I feel like we should have started this sooner, but do you think he'll pick it up?
Yeah, he'll pick it up. We've done blind dogs, we've done deaf dogs, we've done tripods, we've done 12-year-old dogs, all ages. It's as long as you're over 6 months, because at 6 months the brain has developed enough to understand this kind of pressure.
Right.
And also by then the owners have had enough of their puppy, so they're like, yes, we'll do it.
Yeah.
That's why it's popular. And 6 months is also when the brain changes. So like we were in our consultations, the owner will say, my puppy was great, they were so friendly, but then at 6 months they did this, and now they're this type of dog. That's when usually the behavior stuff happens, because the brain shifts. It just changes in that moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Another thing I think we forgot to mention, like when Arya first came, and he's done this before, like he resource guards as well.
Okay.
And that was like lunging at daycare. But it's gotten a lot better since she's come, but I don't know. I still think it could be like an issue with another bigger dog.
Okay. Is it toys or food, or what is it?
It's mostly like really aggressive with food.
Okay.
But he does do it with toys, but not as much anymore.
I've done a little bit of training towards this, so I think it helped him out a bit. So like now, even if I drop food or something, they don't seem to like lunge at each other anymore, or he doesn't seem to lunge at her anymore for food or anything, even if she gets it first. So I think
this morning
he did it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he doesn't do as much anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you're wanting to address it, we can. For now, what I would do is just feed them separately. So if they have crates,
Yeah.
feed them in the
That's
crate.
what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the.
Yeah, we feed her in the crate, but just with for example, that we left like a toy, or not a toy, like one of his like treats that he chews for a long time out, and this morning he was just aggressive with her about it. So
Yeah. That's just. It's just like, making sure everything's cleaned up and everything.
yeah.
No potential fights, or like Arya's not going to get hurt or anything.
Yeah. But we could use the e-collar for that too, right? At times.
Technically, yes. If you're wanting to work on resource guarding, we may need to. That could be 1, 2, 3, 4. That could be your 5th class. Not like it wouldn't be class number 5, but that would be like, because it's 2, and then that extra one we can, not the extra one, the 5th one, we can probably move it in earlier of the resource guarding if you wanted to address that.
Okay.
But yes, we can do it. And is it just with dogs, or is it just with dogs, not humans, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's just with dogs.
Okay. But yeah, we can do that. What else? Any other questions?
No.
No.
Did I get everything?
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about scheduling or anything.
Yeah. So, after this consultation, oh no, I forgot to talk about the board and train daycare and train program. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
So, board and train is you leave Wayne with us for a 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, or a 4 week program, and he's here with us for a week, 2 week, or 3 or 4 week overnight, and we're training him here. So if you were to do a board and train, I'd say a minimum 2 week program would be fine. So he will learn here. He will learn heel, stay, sit, down, come, and then place. All 6 commands. Place is go to your bed, don't move. You can sit, stand, lay down, chin to bone. I don't care. Just don't hop off. So he'll learn all those commands. Everything is videotaped. So you're seeing the moment I put the collar on. You're seeing us teach him. And then you're also seeing him progress. And you're hearing us tell you how to practice. Everything is videoed. So you're going to get, if you do the 2 week program, you get 2 1-hour-long videos. The first video is called the foundational training, where we're teaching him everything for the first time. The second week is us advancing him to the long leash phase, where we hold a 30-foot long leash, and he has all that leash to make mistakes, and we're kind of working him through that, teaching him like, where is he at with his training, and how to work him through certain things. He'll get to socialize, so he'll still get to play with the dogs. We have treadmills here, so we can teach him how to walk on a treadmill. We do our training walks as well, so it's great if the training is good on our training floor, but it means nothing if the training is not functional outside. So we take him for walks. We have a dog park right here. We walk around the dog park, and then there's a Home Depot and a PetSmart. You can take dogs into Home Depot. So that's what we do, just to give them exposure and transfer the commands outside. Um, what else? You're more than welcome to visit Wayne whenever you want. Just call ahead. And then you get 4 hours of follow-up lessons of in-person time. So a common concern owners have with the board and train or daycare and train is that, or what we heard from other programs is that they'll say, yeah, the dog was great, when the trainer was there, but then when the trainer left, the dog was like bad, back to barking. That doesn't happen with ECOG because let's say you see me working with Wayne in the video and his training number, his working number is 25. When I press the button on 25 and you press the button on 25, it's still 25. There's no she is stronger than him or he's stronger than her or he's not here today so he doesn't listen. It's still 25, whether who's there or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's like another wonderful thing about ECOG is that it doesn't matter who's handling Wayne. 25 is 25. Now the follow-up lessons are to transfer everything to you guys and then teach you how to train him or work with him. So you watch a video, you get the videos, you get those lessons. Owners go about it differently. Some owners schedule the first follow-up lesson before the second week of the program starts, so they're caught up with everything. And then once they watch the video as well, so they'll watch the video, get some information. Okay, come to the lesson. They're already familiar with certain things, so they can get right into the training, and then they practice, and then like the program ends, and then maybe they have a follow-up lesson like a month later. Like, Enrique, we've been doing this. Is this correct? Yes. And then we can teach you other things, and we kind of play it by ear how the follow-ups kind of work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Daycare and train is the same thing. You're just dropping him off, retrain him, same videos and everything, but you pick him up at the end of the day and you take him home. 5, 10, 15, 20-day bundles. So he being more like the 10-day bundle. So we recommend 2 times a week, like Mondays or Wednesdays, Mondays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. So a Monday or Wednesday, or like a one Monday, and then next week, Tuesday and a Wednesday, whatever it works for you. What else? You get 3 hours of follow-up though for the 10-day daycare and train. You still get your videos, the 2 videos. What else? So yeah, pros and cons. At first, the training will be tied to us first. You're technically not learning as much as you would in the in-person program because we're doing all the work here. Does that make sense? So those are pros and cons. Pros and cons for the in-person would be pros, you're doing everything yourself. Cons would be it just takes longer. So think of a 6-week program equal to the 2-week program and then the 10-day bundle, right? Any questions about the programs?
Pricing on them.
I don't know off the top of my head. After the consultation, Tina, my assistant, will be reaching out to you. She'll send you the programs I recommend to you with the prices. The e-car I recommend for Wayne. How much does Wayne weigh? It's 28, right?
28 pounds.
The e-car I recommend for Wayne, and then a form that needs to be signed. So it's a form. It's an agreement form. So once that form is signed, we can go ahead and begin billing and the booking. She handles my calendar, so you'll be in contact with her for like schedules and everything like that. If you decide to do the daycare and train or board and train, we would need, she would send you a different form, which would require shot records and vaccinations. Any other questions?
Nope, not for me.
Nothing? Okay. So this is nothing out of the ordinary for us. It's very common. What else? And we've done little dogs before, Corgis and everything. I'm trying to think. I'm missing. If there's nothing else, if you have any other questions in the future, or before you get that follow-up email or even after, you have my email, so you can go ahead and email me with any questions you guys have. Other than that, yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that follow-up email, and then we'll be in touch.
All right.
All right, guys. Good night. Good day.
How's it going? All right.